The president offering a clear rebuke of Mueller's probe today in a Twitter storm, with rumors of new indictments still looming. Time now for tonight's Power Panel. Democratic strategist Dave Brown and Fox News contributors Molly Hemingway and Jason Chaffetz. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you. Here. Good night.
I want to read something from 538.com talking about now that the Dems in January will control the House, this could be a benefit to Mueller. They say this: Democrats don't need Republican buy-in now to exercise their newfound subpoena power. With this option in their toolkit, they can demand oversight if it appears that Mueller's investigation is being stymied or important information is being suppressed. Jason.
Well, a subpoena is only good as its ability to be enforced. And believe me, I was a chairman of the Oversight Committee. I had subpoena authority. I couldn't get documents out of the Trump administration. It was exactly the same as it was with Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch. I don't know what the Democrats think that they can suddenly get documents. The only way to enforce a subpoena is to get the Department of Justice to enforce the subpoena. Congress gave up this power a long time ago. It's wrong. And if they think they can magically get these documents, they're in for a rude awakening.
Well, and now, Dave, as you know, the acting attorney general, the man heading up the DOJ, Matt Whitaker, he's on camera. And he has been, or at least Lindsey Graham is on camera after talking with him, saying he's convinced that there's no way he's going to fire Mueller. Obviously, they're trying to convince Jeff Flake as well. Are you convinced?
No, I'm not. And look, I mean, the very easy solution here is for Leader McConnell to bring Senator Flake's bill to the floor and allow a clean vote in the United States Senate on a bill to protect the investigation. And I've yet to hear a compelling, persuasive argument why on earth Republicans and Democrats wouldn't want to do that. I think it's probably safe to say that most members of Congress in the House and the Senate understand the importance at this point of allowing the special counsel's investigation to conclude and continue and ultimately conclude unfettered. And so I just don't understand why Mitch McConnell continues to sort of run defense for the White House and refuse to allow this bill just a clean vote, up or down. Let the members vote on it. I don't understand why they're not refusing to do that, Shannon.
He says he's convinced the president is not going to get rid of Mueller and that he's safe, so he's not bringing it to the floor. In the meantime, Politico has this headline: preparing for the worst. Mueller anxiety pervades Trump world. Goes on to say half a dozen people in contact with the White House and other Trump officials say a deep anxiety has started to set in that Mueller is about to pounce after his self-imposed quiet period, and that any number of Trump's allies and family members may soon be staring down the barrel of an indictment. Molly, we don't have names for those half a dozen people, but what do you make of that speculation?
Well, it's just good to remember that even though we don't know a lot about the special counsel's scope, we don't know what the limits of his investigation are, and it would be great if the Senate or the House were able to get that information and share it with the American people. That would seem to be more important than somehow protecting the special counsel. We do have this, we have seen for a while now that while the special counsel, which was set up to investigate treasonous collusion with Russia to steal an election, hasn't found anything of that nature at all, but it has found a couple Russian trolls doing Facebook memes, and then it's wrapped up a ton of Trump associates on process crimes, things that Hillary Clinton and her people, when they were caught up in those in sort of similar things, lying to the FBI or making false statements, they didn't even bother prosecuting them. When it comes to Trump affiliates, Mueller has shown himself to be very tenacious, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he had some more things coming. The question is, again, what happened to treasonous collusion with Russia to steal an election? If this is just a political prosecution to go after anybody who was friendly with Trump, that's actually not a very healthy system that we have.
All right, I want to make sure that we get all three of you to weigh in on another topic, and that is this ongoing gubernatorial contest down in Georgia. A number of prominent Democrats now coming out to say, including Senators Booker and Brown, Hillary Clinton as well, saying basically this thing is being stolen from Stacey Abrams, the Democrat, and it's not fair. Here's Rush Limbaugh's response to those thoughts.
Now, these people are speaking without evidence. They've got no evidence whatsoever to back this up at all. And all they're doing is feeding red meat to these deranged lunatics that make up a majority of their voting base. So Republicans are illegitimate. Republicans never win. Every Republican victory is unjust and immoral and should not count. This is a dangerous thing.
Very quick reaction from each of you. Jason first.
Mr. Kemp is up by some 55,000 votes. Rush Limbaugh is right. This is red meat for the left. Kemp is going to be the next governor of Georgia.
Dave?
He may be the next governor of Georgia, but his legacy as Secretary of State will be insidious voter suppression. I mean, this is a man who has dedicated his role in government to make it harder for people to cast lawfully, illegally cast votes. That's disgraceful, and frankly, I think it should be disqualifying.
That is
it should be disqualifying.
That is not
Jason, 1.5 million people were cut off from being able to vote this cycle
He's
because they
required
didn't vote.
by law in odd number years to do
fine,
that.
Then let's try 53,000 people who were bumped. By the way, 70% of whom are African American because their names didn't match across databases.
Okay,
You're a former congressman.
Sure.
You tell me if government databases should be counted in terms of getting our names right.
First of all, the Supreme Court earlier this year ruled that Ohio could purge people off if they did not answer questions about their status, if they didn't vote in a number of elections. That's a lot of the same thing as happened in Georgia. The Supreme Court upheld that. But Molly, quick final word to you.
Just calling for election integrity is good. I'm struck by how many Democrats are saying, again, without evidence, that this election is invalid. The media seem to take those statements very differently than they do when Republicans are pointing to problems in Florida in counties that have a history of problems, and they're being the way the media is treating both of those things is very different.
Yeah, we'll continue to watch that. Dave, Molly, Jason, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.